Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Otago time. It's Bruce Freshwater here. I was playing in Team Dunstone Freshwater in the mixed doubles competition here. So welcome to the 2025 Curling Australia Mixed Doubles Championship. Coming to you live from Maniatoto Adventure Park here in Naseby, Otago, New Zealand, at their wonderful full-sheet curling facility, the only standalone dedicated curling facility in the Southern Hemisphere. You join us at essentially the page one, what is effectively the page one playoff between Team Gill Hewitt and Team Westhagen Panoussi. Both of them won their pools, Pool A and B, so the round robin is done. So, getting proceedings underway is Matt Panoussi. Just a fraction heavy there, but they've opened up the back of the button. So yes, so this is the playoff that will essentially, this team will go through to the grand final. But the loser will get second chance of this final. So on the other sheets we have essentially different versions of page 2 playoffs. So we have the teams that finished 3rd and 4th in their pools, doing a sort of crossover, 3rd versus 4th from the opposite pool. The winners of those will sort of play off against each other, and will then face the loser of this game here. I think is how the draw works. So forgive me for not fully understanding the draw. I need a diagram. So Team Gill Hewitt have the Redstones tonight. Here we are on sheet C, the Greer sheet here in Naseby. Toto curling facility. So Tony Gill a little wide there as well. So Jennifer Westhagen, or Jen, has a chance to get a second counter in there. She chooses to do so. She'll try and get it under cover. The centre guard's been ticked over ever so slightly, so it's slightly off the centre line. I'm hoping that somebody will eventually join me on the commentator's catch, the newly created commentator's catch here in the land. We have four-legged fans up here, Kai and Winnie. So we have two-legged and four-legged fans. Start of this game. So at the moment, only 4 teams have actually been eliminated from the competition thus far. 5 teams have been eliminated. So 6 teams are actually still in. So one of those. We had different goals coming here. So we met our goals. We won a game, and we actually took all of our other games. All went to either the 8th end, and 2 of them went to extra end. So we think we've done pretty well for the team that was seeded last to do that well. So we're very happy with our 3 days work. We've got what we wanted out of the competition. So I can now don the headset, help with a bit of commentary for a bit. Lovely double there from Team Hewitt. Suddenly make that house look very, very favourable to red. So join us live both on the Curling Australia Facebook feed and the YouTube channel. I'm going to monitor the YouTube channel, so if you've got any comments, questions, please do put them into the comments feed on YouTube. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know who you are. If you want any shout outs to friends, family, who you're supporting, just let us know, and I'll do my best to go and keep on top of that. And hopefully want some of the other athletes like myself who are no longer in the competition come up to watch the latter stages of all these games. We'll get someone else on the headset. Well, they've managed to get Shot Rock back. Team Westhagen Panoussi. But the house is definitely looking a bit stacked in favour of Team Gill Hewitt. They're starting to load the house a bit. A few alarm bells ringing for Westhagen and Panoussi. Let's just call them Matt and Jen. I'll do first names. We're a small community here in Oz. And those of you who aren't part of it, I hope you'll forgive me for using their Christian names, but if you join later on, do ask me. Let you know, remind you their full names. Also, everything can be found on the Curling Australia website, curling.org.au, so please do check that out. And also on Instagram and Facebook, Curling Australia. So, nice stone here by Dean, just to remove the yellow stone that was sitting just top button. To sit 4. So other games. So sheet B, one of the adjacencies is not in use. Sheet D is one of these sort of page 2 playoffs, if you like, or sort of quarterfinals, if you will. We have Team Johns versus, and I'm forgetting surnames already. I'm just going to call them Nathan and Joe. And then on sheet A, a couple of sheets over from this one, we've got Hugh and Carly Milliken, father-daughter team, playing Ian Gagnon and Rosalind Gallagher. So, you know, medals, including gold, are still on the table for all the athletes we see before us on the ice tonight. So, yeah, Tarlene Dean, so Team Gill Hewitt, currently sitting 3 in a strong position. They have last rock advantage in this end. So, Westhagen Panoussi just trying to discuss their options here. While they still have, this is down to their last stone thrown by Matt Panoussi. So I think they seem to be discussing sort of a damage limitation shot, as there is a flat-ish but makeable double. 2 stones, so 1 stone sitting in the 8, 1 in the 4. The Reds, I think they're looking at trying to double those out to try and limit the damage in quotes to just 2 stones, because Team Gill Hewitt have their last stone to come. So, yeah, Matt Panoussi bringing a bit of heat with this one. Okay, so there was a different call than the one I got. So they've done a hit and roll over, and that's pretty close. That's a good shot from Panoussi. Almost made the roll to sort of freeze the red stone. I think that it still looks like 1 red. Yeah. I'm going to say 1 red just. But yeah, there is a shot here to probably for 3, maybe, or maybe only 2. So that was a great shot by Panoussi there. It's pretty difficult for Tali and Dean to get their 3 here, so the damage may be limited to 2. See what Tali Gill we know is throw some miraculous shots. Has done for this team on many occasions, so let's see what she can come up with now. Oh, we've got some Anne Powell, who's a legend in the Australian curling community, is sporting some wonderful sort of magenta, let's call it magenta headgear. Pink, no, it's the Sydney Sixers pink. Big fluff with lovely, I mean, look at the pom-poms on that. So it looks like we have a measure for 2nd stone, I think, possibly 3. Wow, and we'll just go through the other sheet. So sheet A is Gallagher Gagnon versus Milliken. And I would say this is a slight upset. We've got Gagnon-Gallagher taking a 3 in their first end. So they're 3-0 up. Wow, that's measures going on. Sheet D, it was 2 stones to Nathan and... No, 2 stones to the Johns team. So in the end, that's just 1 to Team Gill Hewitt. So Gallagher, Westhagen, Panoussi will be pretty pleased with that. Good start. They've held this amazing team, Gill Hewitt team, to just the 1 in the first end. So now they'll have a chance to get their multiple score with the last rock. So we got the man, the myth, the legend, Brad Scott, doing the video, managing the video feed. So he'll do his best to keep on top of flipping the cameras when we change directions and kind of things. Great opening draw here from Tali Gill. Just a little tap. Deficit shot. But that's created a bit of room for Matt Panoussi to work with here with his opening draw, if he chooses to do so. Yeah, so we've sorted the overhead cameras there for you, everybody. So you should all have the overheads, the scoreboard, and the end-on views now. So as long as all 4 of the cameras behave, then we will leave that view as it is for you. Certainly while we stay on our feature sheet here, sheet C. So that initial opening draw coming up a little shy. Amazing draw from Dean Hewitt there. So already taking control of the end by just getting 2. Essentially one in the button, one just touching back of the button. Hi Phil from WA, glad you like the look of the feed. So yeah, so as long as the cameras stay up and running, we're not going to touch them. We're going to leave the feed exactly as it is. But yeah, obviously if any of the cameras, they are some of these Pro and the batteries, obviously some of these are battery powered cameras living in the cold, so they are prone to running down quite quickly, so we'll do our best. Hi Maddie, thank you for the voter support. Yeah, we were very pleased with our win early this afternoon. We felt we played really well, and the fact that we've run every other team we've played to win close. We've run them to 2 games that went to the extra end, and the other 2 games went to the 8th, went down to last stone. So we've done pretty well. You know, they've more than exceeded the goals we had coming to this comp. I've been at the mixed double scene for a good few years, and this was our playing partner's debut to mixed doubles nationals, Michelle. So we did really well, I think. Again, we were seeded last in the event, so we've done pretty well, we feel. And apparently our draw shot was pretty good in our pool anyway, 3rd or 4th. Okay. So yeah, here back to our feature game. Dean Hewitt's draw coming in on the in-turn side, trying to, I think, pile on the pressure. Get another counting stone in there, and it's all about angles for those of you that know this discipline. I'll be trying to set up an angle that... Oh, okay, so this was maybe the guard that was put up. My mistake, that would have been the call. Dean looked very relaxed, so they don't have hammer, so they're sitting 2 without hammer. So guard, sensible call there. Don't get too greedy. So I think the run back is the call here. Obviously with no. A little bit of discussion about exactly where to hit the stone. So Matt Panoussi just heading back to the throwing end to talk to Jen about exactly the kind of shot that's needed. But it looks, oh, he's gone up to help sweep. They've agreed the striking point of the stone, the red stone that's just been thrown. Try and get that coming into, just to try and get at least 1, possibly 2 red stones moving out of that 4-foot scoring zone area. Give them some room to work with. Stone coming in, but it's over curling, so it's just going to peel the stone just thrown, I think. Yeah. But they have opened it up. We might see the guard just replaced by Dean Hewitt. Looks to be the call. So Dean Hewitt just replacing the guard there. Another option being looked at by Jen and Matt Westhagen Panoussi. Rather than they could just try and play the run or the peel, but I think they're now looking to use one of their stones that's sitting in the top 8 foot. Let's see if they can angle run that in, angle raise it in. I think it's the run. Looking at so stone coming in from Gen West. It looks like this is going to over curl and crash on the guard. But that does open up the draw path on the right-hander's outturn side, and it certainly also opens up the path for any upweight hit shots. So Team Gill Hewitt, they appear to be focusing on the stone at the top of the 8 foot. That's a stone that poses a threat because of its proximity to the scoring area. So they're looking to neutralize that, I think, with possibly a hit and roll. Take it out and then roll to the center. Okay, so yeah, control weight shot coming in from Charlie Gill here. Dean off it. Now he's trying to carve it hard. So nice hit and roll there from Charlie Gill. As we get down to Westhagen Panoussi's final stone. They're just seeing if there's any way they can get shot stone out of this. Yeah, I think that's what they're looking at. They're looking at whether they can come in with a bit of heat on the outturn, so right-hander's outturn side. Hit the stone at the top of the button on the high side. Get rid of both and leave the pre-placed shot stone, or what was the pre-placed shot stone, counting. I don't think that's going to work. I don't think Dean Hewitt appears to think it's not going to work either, just because those two red stones are very close together. And we know from experience that these competition stones that we were able to use here are quite draggy. So for those who don't know about drag in curling, the striking bands have quite a good bit of friction on them, so there's quite a pronounced gearing effect when stones that are close together are struck. So the spin that's imparted and the direction of travel that's imparted, yeah, that's exactly what happened. So the direction of the striking stone, the thrown stone, was actually transferred right through to the stone at the back. So it then took out the other stone, leaving, unfortunately, a steal of 3. Or unfortunately, if you're a man Jen, a steal of 3 to Dean and Tali. So they get their 3, making it 4-0 in the second end to Team Gill Hewitt. Matt and Jen take hammer into the third end. So it's 4-0. 4-0. Well, I do believe I'm going to be joined, have the pleasure of Matt Hesketh's company from Queensland. Welcome, Matt.
Thanks for having us, Bruce. How's the game been so far?
Well, the high quality. It's been a good quality game, particularly from Team Gill Hewitt. We know that in these parts they're a bit of a juggernaut that's hard to resist. So
Absolutely.
They are the expected irresistible force that we expected them to be.
They seem to play pretty well. Obviously, both your team and my team, we played in Pool B against Panoussi Westhagen. So this is the first time that I've really had a chance to see Gill Hewitt play.
Yeah, I think they didn't encounter too many problems in that pool, I don't believe. They went through most of their games fairly easily. But we did see some, there were some ends scored against them, so it is possible to score against the team. There was some multiple point ends scored, so it is possible.
Absolutely. They had a great draw shot challenge and last stone draws throughout the competition as well.
Yes. They've lived up to their billing. So yeah, and then a great first draw there from Gill to just sort of corner freeze the pre-placed Westhagen Panoussi stone. So, but there is room to come in. So that's why that pre-placed stone is at the back of the forefoot. Because it means if the initial stone does come to freeze it, there's still a bit of room for the. Unfortunately, this looks a bit heavy, and I think Matt's going to chip that stone out slightly. Roll, so just a fraction heavy from Panoussi there. I mean, there was not a lot. That was only tiny fractions heavy, but Matt looks a bit disappointed. I think he's been a bit hard on himself there. That was close.
Looks like there's a lot of stones in play and on some of the other sheets as well, though.
Yes, going around those sheets. Milliken have managed to square things up on sheet A, so it's now 3-3 on sheet A. Their game against Gallagher Gagnon. Meanwhile, Team Johns managed to steal one on sheet D, so they're now 3-0 up. Against, and I can't remember the surnames. My apologies, Nathan and Joe.
Yeah, so Robbins Francie. So yeah. Joe Robbins and Nathan Francie for the other team.
Thank you, Matt. Of course, Queensland compatriots of yours.
Yes, and housemates here. So we played in the last round just before the final started. So that was certainly a housemate off.
Yeah, there were a couple of local derbies. We had
yes.
a Queensland derby and a Victorian derby in the last round of round robin games. So, yeah, there's still a bit of room here now. So, Jen Westhagen coming in. She's looking to, I think, lay a freeze. So, Matt Panoussi sweeping this hard to get it around the centre. It is by. That's a good sweep. Now it needs to hold it on its line. That's a great stone from Jen Westhagen. Come and freeze on top of the red. Get a shot stone that way. And it's undercover as well. So we have staggered guards up front. So something brewing here for Matt and Jen potentially. Dean, I think, will look to just draw in on top to minimize that scoring area, get it as small as possible. Dean looking very relaxed with this stone. Hasn't hardly laid a brush to it. So, yeah, very, very professional shot there from Dean Hewitt. So that's scoring area. So that yellow stone isn't really going anywhere too quickly, but it's made the scoring area very, very small for Westhagen Panoussi.
One thing I have to say, Bruce, I was watching the World Mixed Doubles Championships, and obviously hearing Tali and Dean microphoned up, it was a great insight in terms of how they played the game. And it's just so interesting compared to some of the other teams that were there, how meticulous they are and how they've really broken down each of the parts of, in particular, Tali's slides to provide so much mathematical feedback to each other.
Yeah.
So that they can just absolutely know what the play is going to be, where they're expecting the stone to go. And obviously through repetition and working really, really hard, they've just got some great communication. So hopefully, as I said, we didn't get to play them. They're in a different pool, but no doubt they're continuing that communication and throughout the competition.
I believe so. They obviously have a process. Australian head coach Perry Marshall is here in New Zealand with everybody, and obviously he's the Australian head coach. But his main focus is Dean and Tali. So he has briefs and debriefs with the team before and after games. So I think what we're starting to see is a lot of his influence in the style of play and the methodologies applied that Dean and Tali use. So for those of you who have watched them live at Worlds, one of the things I hear is when Tali is delivering her stone, when she gets to the 12-foot in her slide, Dean will actually read the split time of her slide to the 12-foot, and in the fractions of a second, or the second or two, between that point in space at the end of the 12-foot and reaching the hog line, Tali then adjusts the will tweak, just minutely alter the way she releases the stone with her throwing arm to add a tiny bit of speed, or even or maybe not reduce speed, but not give it any more speed. So I mean, that level of precision is, to someone like myself, mind blowing.
Absolutely. we always have a little joke about what stones are in play, and my team, we always just start at 1 all the way through to 8, but there's obviously some very talented curlers here at the National Championships who can read the ice and read the stones and know exactly which stone to remove from their for mixed doubles, for example.
Yes.
Because obviously there are only 5 thrown stones. But credit to them, and the hard work has paid dividends for them to get where they are.
Yeah, get to them. Well, that's the level they have to operate at, because that's the level that the other elite teams around the world operate at. So to get that bronze medal, that's what was needed. Compete with the very best in the world, and beat most of them.
Yeah. So what we did see previously, so Jen Westhagen peeled the guard and Dean put it back. Jen's just thrown her stone into that front guard. Looks like it's popped out one behind, but still has the centre guard sitting there.
Yep. Sorry, the screen that I have to look at, I was just trying to get the overhead back. So we still, yellow's still sitting 1, but very much buried, and there is a centre guard protecting that cluster on the centre line in the main 4-foot scoring area. Now, what I've noticed is that in this situation that Dean and Tali are in, so they don't have last stone advantage, but it's very difficult to see how Matt and Jen at this stage could get a second scoring stone in. So I think many curlers, myself included, would be quite happy to even with that shot rocket advantage, would probably just almost guard this up and to take our 1 and run. But that's not how this team think. They'll still be looking for ways to eliminate that yellow stone somehow, I think. Or at least try and promote a red. But I could be wrong. This may just be a guard. So if that is, that's almost a minor victory to Westhagen Panoussi. Yeah, I think it is. This is just the guard shot. So
Just trying to reduce damage.
yeah, or just prevent any more. So that's a little victory there for Matt and Jen. They're guaranteed to take one in this end. We've got a few more of the again the athletes in this competition who are like myself no longer involved in the playing proceedings and are now joining the gallery. Enjoying the hospitality here of the rink in Naseby, and so starting to get rowdy. So the crowd is spreading out across the 3 games that we have running as they watch not just our feature game, but they're watching the other 2 games to support friends and heckle and barrack. And so over on sheet A, we potential bit of turn up for them. I think they would be the first to say this, but Team Gallagher Gagnon have scored another 3 in the 3rd end. So the score there is now 6-3 to Gagnon Gallagher. So very Ian is my skip in my men's team and a good friend. So if I was supporting anybody, I guess I'd have to say it was that team. I'll support, and they're also the underdogs it's only by seedings, so I'll be cheering for them.
And certainly have a very unique uniform as well.
They do. The uniform game is strong. Lime green shirts with a curling unicorn motif.
Given the unicorns on there, Bruce, do you think that might ever end up as the Scottish national uniform?
I think we're too involved. We too like our thistles.
Yes.
Too much. Of course, the unicorn features on the British actual coat of arms, so it's an Olympic year, it will be there somewhere. The 3rd end's still playing out on sheet D, so I'll give you a score update once that one's finished. Back to our feature game here. It's going to be difficult to see how Westhagen and Panoussi are going to get that 2nd stop. So there was I think they were trying a very, very difficult angled raise, which didn't quite come off. So the stone crashed on the guard, but they'll get their 1 point. So score in our feature game here is 4-1 to Team Gill Hewitt as we go into the 4th end. So some of you might be noticing Jen Westhagen almost jogging. I won't say run on the ice. You should never run on the ice. But, anybody that's ever curled, particularly if you've tried competitive mixed doubles curling, it feels incredibly fast by curling standards. So particularly for the sort of have-a-go club curlers that are here at Australian Nationals, the pace of play is something that is pretty strictly enforced by our amazing umpires. And yeah, there's not a moment to waste in mixed doubles. So, opening draw here by Matt Panoussi coming in. Being swept hard by Jen Westhagen. Yeah, it's a good sweep. That is going to sneak by that first guard. They would love to be sitting shot at this point, which they are. So that's a great stone by Matt Panoussi.
And an equally good sweep by Jen.
And a very good sweep by Jen. Yeah, very much a team sport, team effort. Great sweep to get that by the guard. In fact, it over-curled that stone, so it is peeking out on the right-hander's out-turn side. Of course, in mixed doubles, no stones can be removed yet. We have to wait until the 4th thrown stone to do that. So I think they'll be looking just to corner freeze this, or probably on the inside, put their stone on the center line to set up a good angle. For those who played mixed doubles, it's all about the angles. Certainly for the first few stones where you can't actually remove anything. That's, yeah, if you picked up and walked with that stone and put it down on the ice, that's exactly where Tali would have placed it. So, I'll set up a great angle. to set up an angle now that if the run back comes in to propel that red stone into the yellow would be directed out of the house, leaving the other red stone, the pre-placed stone, still there, counting as shot. So that's what we talk about when we talk about angles.
So Matt Panoussi just calling for the freeze on this one as well.
Yeah.
Just building that line.
Meanwhile, the crowd getting into their attention is actually more drawn to what's happening on sheet A, where Team Gallagher Gagnon have really brought their A game tonight, and are really taking it to Team Milliken, who did very well in their pool.
And then over on sheet D as well, Johns just scored a seal of 1 in that third end. So they're sitting 4-0 at the moment
Quite
against
comfortable.
Frenzy
Death by steals at the moment. Yes, but still all to play for them. If Nathan and Joe can just get a multiple score, get a 2 in this end, they're still very much in it. Of course, in mixed doubles, we have the power play rule, which allows both teams to play a power play and get those preset stones moved to the side of the sheet, which sort of turns the end into an end that's a bit more like traditional curling, which in theory makes it easier to score a multiple score. So all the teams here still have that up their sleeves. I'm always reminded, because I'm old and British, of the show It's a Knockout. Oh, and it looks like they're playing their Joker. Was a catchphrase from that era. So unfortunately, Jim, that stone was a little wide by Dean Hewitt. So a very rare miss. But of course, because he controls his weight so well, even that stone didn't do what it was supposed to. It still rolled to the wings into the house, where it's sitting 4th shot at the moment, and will potentially come into the scoring later on in the end. So again, one of the things that we see from this team is their ability to miss well is there. Still make use of a bad shot.
Yeah, that stone is sitting quite nicely, just above tee, so it couldn't be swept out any further. But yeah, I think you're exactly right, Bruce. Just a great control of that weight to be able to really have a good plan B.
Absolutely. So yeah, and to remove the open things up, and they're the team with hammer, so they want an open head to shoot to. The crowd getting excited here. We've got a glimpse of Hugh Milliken peel weight coming in. Always an exciting sight to see, but unfortunately didn't quite get to the center of the stone he was hitting, so just peeled something out. Was hoping for a run back. But the crowd saw that, got excited for a bit. We do like a bit of Milliken peel weight. Bring back the backswing. So I think we have again another draw coming in from Jen Westhagen. She will be looking to try and get this. It's going to over curl only by half a stone, but that's still pretty good. I think she would have liked to have corner frozen that on the high side, ever so slightly, again to set up an angle. Still a great shot, but by coming to nose, the angles still favour Gill Hewitt here. Because I think Dean now might be looking at either a bit of weight to hit directly or to run something in. And the angles suggest to me, with my rudimentary knowledge of angles, that both yellow stones could go here and leave red stones in the house. So yes, we're going to see a bit of Hewitt peel weight now coming in, I think. He's going to have to skinny the centre guard by a whisker. And as if by magic, yellow stones appeared.
Well, disappeared.
Disappeared. So, yeah, the angles did favour Team Gill Hewitt. So, a bit of heat there, and as if by magic, 2 yellow stones disappear. Now you see them, now you don't.
And some great athleticism as well from Dean to be able to, because that stone was coming down quite at a rate of knots, but he was able to catch up to his stone to keep sweeping. I certainly don't give that a try.
No.
If I'm throwing a takeout or a peel, I just let it do what it does.
I mean, that wasn't light speed, that stone, but it was probably still 6 or 7 seconds, hog to hog. So, yeah, quite a bit of speed. So, yes, you're right. Just the athleticism, the fitness, the balance, to be able to throw the stone and get up and catch it up and then sweep it within that 6 to 7 seconds. It blows my mind. But there's still a centre guard, so the stone that Dean threw for his run back did actually stay pretty much, or he didn't move, he came round the centre guard because that's been ticked over, so there is still cover for Jen Westhagen to use here, so she's throwing a draw. What I find quite amazing is even after the throws that we've had on this sheet, the 2 stones that were pre-placed are still pretty much in exactly the same position,
right. Yeah.
Even though we've seen granite flying around. And so a nice draw there from Jen Westhagen. Yeah. Again, perhaps overcurled slightly. She might have been looking to just freeze that on the node rather than corner freeze. But it means it's a stone that Gill Hewitt can't ignore. So they will probably set up an angle of their own, I think. We see a corner freeze on the other side of the centre line. Again, set up an angle to potentially then allow the next shot to propel that yellow stone out of the rings.
Coming down to the last 2 stones on sheet A. So there's going to be you'll probably hear some cheers in the crowd.
Yeah.
In the next little bit.
Because again, we've got Gagnon Gallagher
sitting shot by the looks of it.
Sitting possibly even 2 at the moment without Hammerstone. So I think that this guard is going to overcurl there. No, that's in a good spot. So, yeah, the potential for an upset on sheet A continues. And it means Ian will be denied. He might have earned some hot tub tonight. We'll see. But he might be working tomorrow, so who knows.
And then sheet D is it's the hitting game. So Nathan Francis just flashed one.
He may have got second shot though. Not sure. We'll see. Yeah, that's just being checked out. So there was a perhaps intended or unintended plan B there. I don't know. So he did remove a yellow stone, not the intended one, but he'd still achieved something with his stone, which was always good. It's good to have that plan B.
Meanwhile, back on C, Matt Panoussi and Jen Westhagen. Lots of strategy, lots of chatting.
Yeah, anybody that knows this team knows there's lots of chatting with this team, so they do like to talk things out. It's their process, it works for them, it works very effectively. A collection of mixed doubles medals over the years. So it does look like Team Gallagher Gagnon have picked up a steal of 2 in the 4th end against Team Milligan. Oh, and Roz doesn't want a 5-minute break. She's setting up already for the 5th end. Yeah,
let me at him. Let's keep going.
We had that in our game as well. My playing partner Michelle was all set to go. We didn't come here for a 5-minute break.
No, well, my partner Grace and I, we absolutely enjoyed our 5-minute break, and I think it went almost too fast. So Matt Panussi's shot looks like he just flashed the the reds that he was trying to hit as it went through, and Dean Hewitt's now just checking. Obviously, if he could get his vernier calipers out to see which is closer, to work out which is sitting third shot, he would be able to get that out. But he's doing that just visually, just to see which of the stones, whether it's the yellow in the back, in the around about 6 feet out, or whether it's the red just out on the tee line, which is the third sitting shot. So obviously trying to hit in for trying to go for 4 on this end. So over on sheet D, there's a lot. There was arms, there was legs, there was brooms, there was everything going on there, trying to get some curl that shouldn't have happened. But it looks like that Robbins Fretzy managed to get one on that last. And obviously we'll wait for the official score to be hung by Sandy Gagnon, now one of all chief umpire of the competition.
Yeah, meanwhile we have the last stone coming in on sheet C. So all 4 games running at least to much the same schedule. I think they're still running a little over time. I know the umpires will remind everybody of that, but that was a fairly straightforward hit and stick by Dean Hewitt there to get 4, I believe. So we're going to have a little break here of a couple of minutes while there's no action on the ice. As the players all earn a few minutes break, drink and warm up, and those that have coaches will have little briefing sessions, debriefing sessions. So I myself am going to wet my whistle, so I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Oh, welcome back, everyone. Play is about to resume on our feature game here on Sheet C. Those of you just joining, we're in the playoff stage of the 2025 Curling Australia Mixed Doubles Championship. Our feature game tonight is essentially the Page 1 playoff. So both these teams, Team Gill Hewitt and Team Westhagen Panoussi, won their pools, the two pools we had. So they're playing off. The winner of this game will essentially go forward into the final. But the loser will still get a second chance. They've earned that right by finishing top of their pool. We do have other games running, which are the teams that placed a bit lower in their pools but still managed to qualify for playoffs. So they're essentially in elimination finals now. Losers of those two games on sheets D and A will go home. Or not go home, but they won't be involved in the competition. And the winners of those two will, I think the format is they then play off against each other to win the right to play the loser of our feature game.
That's my understanding, Bruce.
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah. Yes, we were trying to figure it out earlier in the app without having a diagram to look at.
Yes. But what we do have is just a bit of a score update across all of the sheets. So sheet A, that's at the moment Team Gallagher Gagnon. They're sitting 8 against Milliken 3. Looks like Milliken have played their power play in the 5th end. So not quite sure if there was a power play dance for them, but certainly the crowd was very entertained when power play came up. And just confirming that score of 1 to Robbins Francie on sheet D. So Team Johns is currently sitting scoring 4 versus Robbins Francie 2-1 on that one.
Great, thanks, Matt. So again, I'm sure that Rolls and Ian on sheet A would agree that this is very much an upset score going against the form book and the seedings. Be very happy with their evening's work so far, so let's see if they can keep up the good work for another 4 ends.
Speaking about upset, though, you don't want to be upset if you miss out on the VCA's Fun Spiel. So the Victorian Curling Association, they're holding their Fun Spiel on the 17th of October from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. at the Ice House in Docklands, the O'Brien Ice House there. It was a great event last year, Bruce. I know that my mixed doubles partner Grace and I, we were there. We had a great time. There's costumes, there's wacky rules. It's not curling as you know it, but all I can say is you've got to be there, otherwise you will be upset. We're hoping to get some people from New Zealand to come over as well, so there's certainly some interest there. So if you're interested, jump on the Victorian Curling Association's website and check out their events page for more information. And so registrations will open a little later in the year, but certainly keep an eye on that. It's one thing you don't want to miss. So all abilities are welcome. As we spoke about a little while ago, probably if you do a come and try the week before, it's probably not for you. But if you're if you've been around curling for a couple of months or a couple of years or even 15 years or 20 years and you just want to socialise, have some fun, come on down to the Fun Spiel at the O'Brien Ice House on the 17th of October.
Absolutely, thanks, Matt. Yeah, I went too. It's a great event. I just put myself in a scratch team with the sort of other curlers from Victoria, and we had a great time. It was a chance for me to mentor some beginner players, and because although we're doing fun games, most of the fun games that we do are actually coaching drills, so it's a great way to improve your curling as well. Let's have some fun and a chance to just meet this amazing curling community we have in both Australia and New Zealand, where the two curling associations, federations work very closely together. So we'd love to see some of our friends from New Zealand come across the ditch to curl with us, and from anywhere else in the world. Why not have a holiday in Melbourne in October and do some curling while you're there?
Absolutely. And if you don't have a team, Bruce, don't worry. As you said, you put a scratch team together, but if you don't have a team and you're still interested, you will be able to sign up as an individual or a pair, and the wonderful people at the VCA will partner you up, so that way you'll certainly have a great time.
Absolutely, it was a great time. The great day was had by all.
We've actually got Tyrannosaurus Rex himself is standing beside me, so We had a lot of costumes. We had someone dressed up in an inflatable dinosaur who I didn't actually know that it was Thomas Bentz until he took it off for a little air out because it was a little sweaty.
Mercifully, he was wearing something underneath.
That's
that
right.
was a relief to all of us. But,
And then from Western Australia, we also had the Swan represented as well. So,
and the Swan remained worn all day. That was full marks to, I can't remember his name, but
David Moy.
David Moy, who wore that costume, in a very committed way for the entire duration of the day, even when he went out for food and drink in the break. So, don't know what the good people of Docklands made of that, but I'm sure they asked him questions and they told him what he was, and he told them what they were doing. So it was a bit of publicity for us. That was great. Meanwhile, back to our feature game, we've resumed in the fifth end, and excuse me, this beer is very tasty. Team Gill Hewitt are just lining things up on the centre line, as they do, behind their centre guard, having removed the pre-placed stone that would have been there for Panoussi Westhagen. So it's just ruthless in a very nice way. Team Gill Hewitt, that's the consummate professionals that they are.
Meticulous is another way to describe it.
Absolutely. Yep. This is the level they have to play to stay sharp and take this level into the international competitions that they will play in preparation for hopeful Olympic qualification later in the year. So we wish them well for that, of course. They are already Australia's pre-selected team for the Olympic qualification event later in the year. So they're placing that. But up for grabs here is still the chance to be Team Australia in mixed doubles for another year in the rest of the world competitions, such as the World Championships next April. So it would be great, that's, in some ways, to have a couple of Australian teams doing different things on the world stage.
So Jen Westhagen just peeling the guard.
Yeah, just crashing on it. She was hoping to get around.
High fives all round on sheet 8.
Yeah. Rose Gallagher doing her thing again to clear things out. So, although I do believe Team Milliken do have a nose hit to score a 3-pointer. Looks like, possibly.
Well, they're currently sitting shot in the centre there with the Yellowstone.
So, and this is this is the red power play. Hang on, I've got this wrong. So, no, it's yellow power.
It's yellow power play.
Yellow power play. So, yes. All right. Yes, so potentially a chance to sit 2. My apologies, I can't count the stones.
Back on sheet C, Dean Hewitt just replacing that guard that was taken by Jen Westhagen. Still sitting 3. 2 very close to the centre and then just 1 at the very top of the house.
All lined up, so again, that looks like Panoussi Westhagen are eyeing up a run back. So Matt Panoussi there just identifying the... I think he's, with the speed that this stone should be thrown at, it's not going to curl very much. So this is pretty much where it'll be the strike point, but it'll also pretty much be the aim point. The stone may only move an inch or 2. I think they're throwing on the out-turns, right-handers out-turn side. Yes. So this looks like it's over-curling already, so it is being swept hard. It is going to catch a piece of the front stone, but just going to peel it out again.
Thanks to those who are watching. So thanks to Kevin for joining us from Melbourne.
Hey, Kevin.
So Kevin's happy to see, so happy to be seeing these matches. So we're glad that you're able to join us tonight on Facebook, on the Facebook live stream, along with the others who have joined us as well. We've also got our YouTube stream as well. So jump on your preferred channel, whether it's the YouTube or whether it's Facebook, and send us a message where you're watching from. We've had some great a great range of viewers. I'm sure that you would know, Bruce, across the national championships from all across the world.
We have. And, you know, some unknowns to us, which are nice. Not everybody watching is necessarily connected with Curling Australia, which is great to see. We've had some people who obviously just found us through searching the platforms and tuning in. We had somebody from Ontario in this morning's session who found us almost by chance, or because the algorithm suggested it, and he tuned in and was asking some great questions. He didn't realise there was curling in Australia, so it's good to know that we're getting a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for, but you know, getting ourselves known.
We've got over on sheet D, there's certainly a big end building here. We've got Johns with hammer, and the last stone is still to come. There's a lot of yellow in that house there.
Yes. I think 5 in the 8 foot. So, of course, remember in mixed doubles, there are only 6 stones in play. So the mixed doubles equivalent of an 8-ender, in quotes, is a 6-ender. So there is a potential for a 6-ender on sheet D. So, yeah, Westhagen Panoussi just, again, all about angles. They're just discussing what the angles are set up to do. Is there anywhere they can put their hammerstone to try and, well, potentially get shot, or at least cut down the damage? Because at the moment, Gill Hewitt is sat 3. So the potential 6-ender on sheet D didn't eventuate in the end. So, but it looks like it's still a pretty big score of possibly maybe 3 or 4. And we'll get the official score hung up on the board soon by Sandy Gagnon, chief umpire here. So it was a 4 in the end. That's still a nice big score. So Team Johns are in full control over on sheet D. It's now 8-1.
We've got a dance over on sheet A.
Oh, power play. We have a power
Yes.
play being called on.
So that looks like it's Gagnon Gallagher or Gallagher Gagnon calling their power play. So so Milliken scoring 3 in their power play, taking the score back
8-6. They're back in it.
And then so Ros Gallagher and Ian Gagnon looking to just extend their lead.
Meanwhile, that looks like a reasonable, pretty good shot there from Jen Westhagen to at least limit the damage that was building there. So we'll just put the official score up. It was only a 2. Yes, that could have been a 4. So that was a pretty good save there by Jen Westhagen. But pressure still piling on. So the score on our feature game is now Team Gill Hewitt 10. Team Westhagen Panoussi just the solitary 1 going into the 6th end. Meanwhile on sheet D we have a lovely opening draw from Veronica Johns.
We've got a power play as well, Bruce, on sheet C.
Oh, exciting.
No dance, though. Unfortunately, no dance for this power play. But
yeah. So, yeah, we see this from Team Gill Hewitt. They, this is almost a defensive power play. They just... They want to score, but they feel because they can score more easily in a power play, it's just a way of, again, further restricting the ability of their opponents to score. Really turning the screw. So we'll see this Tali Gill. Now this team, again, they operate at the elite level where the tick shot in mixed doubles curling is, for anybody that has curled, they'll know how difficult tick shots can be.
Very straight, lots of rotation.
So rotation gets exactly the right weight and angle to
splits the house.
It's basically get shot rock and roll the guard away to leave that yellow stone completely exposed. So, however, even with that great shot from Tali Gill, Matt Panoussi has a chance to hit and stay here and essentially split the house. So the twos, if you can make this, the two's definitely still on for Matt and Jen. Long way to go though.
Over on sheet A with Milliken. So Milliken's got one sitting just in the top of the 4 foot with another one coming through. Very wide. So there's this Hugh Milliken shot coming in now. Carly Milliken jumping on, sweeping. Just looking to nudge their guard. Doesn't quite get it into the house though.
No, but they're still sitting one behind, not quite behind cover, but there is a centre guard in play that was put there. I think must have been a bit of a miss shot by Team Gagnon Gallagher. Nice freeze here, played by Matt Panoussi. So he doesn't just, he could have just hit and stayed, but that would have essentially locked in a maximum of 2, which at this stage of procedures wouldn't be enough for Team Westhagen Panoussi. So yeah, that was a good comment. So yeah, for those who watching, in mixed doubles, of course, one of the players throws the first and fifth thrown stone, and the other player throws the second, third, and fourth stone. I think it's fair to say that in the majority of certainly elite mixed doubles teams, it tends to be the female player who throws stones 1 and 5. With the male player throwing stones 2, 3, and 4. But there are plenty of other teams where that have just been heckled in the gallery here. Now there are teams where that doesn't happen, and Matt Panoussi and Jen Westhagen are an example of that right on in our feature game. Currently we have Jennifer Westhagen throwing the middle 3 stones. They will actually, and it's perfectly legal in mixed doubles, so between ends you can switch that playing order. And this team certainly used that to great effect. Maybe not, it's not been on display in this game, but throughout the round robin. And basically it boils down to draw weight. Whichever of them has found draw weight and has dialed it in will be the one that during the practice will then pick up the playing order. So they'll just throw more stones. So if you basically need the person who's dialed in draw weight to throw the majority of stones. So currently that's Jennifer Westhagen for this team. And obviously with the scoreline being as it is, the strategy, just the Matt and Jen just feel that, at the moment there's not a lot they can do against such quality, but maybe just changing the playing order, have a power play, might disrupt the rhythm of Team Gill Hewitt, might give them a little edge. See how that pans out. So Jen just unfortunately just over curling that stone there. She was hoping to corner freeze or nose freeze to get shot stone over in that cluster that's on the right side as I look at it, just over curling.
As you said, Bruce, though, they're staggered, so if there's something that's going to come in hot into the nose, it's just going to pop some stones out. It's not all going to tap backwards.
Not yet. I think there's potentially a red stone at the back could stay put. So it looks like there seems to be a conversation between Tali and Dean about angles, and yes, with the broom going there, we're going to see a bit of heat thrown by Dean Hewitt here. I think what he's actually trying to do is not hit the top yellow. I think he's trying to hit the red. Because that freeze over curled, it means the red's available to be hit. I think Dean's looking to make contact with that one to remove the yellow stone that it's locked onto behind it. So quiet weight here from Dean Hewitt. Just this is sort of board to control weight coming in. This is over curling though. So he's just going to peel out a yellow stone, but
and a nice roll to the back of the
pretty happy with that. That's to leave them sitting 2 at the moment. I think that was the question from the gallery here. Was that the intended shot? I think it probably was in the end with the quiet weight that was thrown. So nice use of nuanced weight there, bit of finesse. You don't have to blast everything with peel weight.
Although sometimes, Bruce, it is just much more fun to do that.
Oh, it is. We do like a bit of a smashy, as it's been known to be recalled here in the gallery, particularly in these later sessions once a few fermented fruit beverages have been consumed.
However, the risk with some smashy is the flashy.
Absolutely, particularly if your belt comes undone. So. So we can see what's happening. So I think, not sure what the call is here. Possibly just a hit and stay, but that would only get them 1. Still got a couple of stones though, so I think possibly another freeze is going to be the call here. A corner freeze, a cluster of stones on the right-hand side of the sheet as I'm looking at it. Yeah, I think that is the call. We have draw weight coming in, so I think either corner freeze or corner freeze to either of the red stones, the one in the top of the tee. But if it's a little heavy and they get around, as long as they get around it, corner freeze the one behind it. That would also be a decent outcome. Once again, this stone coming up short, over curling slightly. So it's just a guard. I don't think that's what they wanted. I think they needed something in the house there to try and potentially score later in the end. All that's done, unfortunately, is guard up the red stone that's currently sitting second shot.
Over on sheet A, though, Bruce, we've got Carly Milliken about to throw her last stone at the end. This is obviously, that's that power play we were talking about before, the Gagnon-Gallagher power play. From here, it looks like they're sitting 3. That's red stones, so that's Gallagher-Gagnon sitting 3. Carly Milliken just with her last shot.
So yeah, Gallagher-Gagnon making great use of their power play so far. So I think we're hoping for another freeze, I think, the call, or a draw, just to get something behind a centre guard or the shot stone that's on the centre line in the house that is itself guarded. So
just to describe to the viewers where those stones were, there was one, if there were compass points, it would be north, south and west is where they were.
Yeah, all on sort of the 8-foot circle, or 8-foot ring. So that one from Carly Milliken just unfortunately caught a bit betwixt and between, so it bounced off the yellow stone and sat beside it. So there's probably a couple of shot options here for Gallagher-Gagnon. They could probably chase the yellow stone that's sitting in the top 8 now as it's peeking out, and they're potentially a nose hit for 4. But I don't think that's the option they're going to. I think they're just going to go for a draw for 2. Again, you can only call the shot that you think you can make. So
absolutely.
So if Roz isn't feeling it for the hit, should be a pretty precise one. She says, no, you know what, I fancy my draw. Let's just get 2 and go into the 7th end, and I think that's what the call is.
So back here on sheet C, you would have seen that Dean Hewitt. He just removed that yellow stone that was on our left-hand side of the house. And just what Jen at Westhagen now just trying to come and freeze on that centre red, maybe a little bit high.
Just again, little light and over curling. So the tolerances of this game, there's not a lot of them. So I mean that stone's only about a foot short and a foot wide in where it needs to be absolutely perfect.
Now, since it is Westhagen Panoussi's power play, they do have hammer. So this is Charlie Gill's last shot of the end. And then we'll obviously have Matt Panoussi throw his final shot. Bit of tension over on sheet A. You might be able to hear that from the audience.
So yeah, in the end of that, looked like Ros Gallagher was about to. We do a Ros or to verb. So to Ros, you have been Rosed, but that didn't happen. Just over curling and crashing on a guard there, but Team Gallagher will still get one out of that end. Close the gap slightly, so to increase their lead. I'm sorry. So they'll go into the 7th end 9-6 up, so still a healthy lead there.
So Charlie Gill's shot comes in, just knocks out that stone that Jen Westhagen put in. Looks like they're sitting at least 3.
Yeah, possibly 4.
Possibly 4.
Yeah, I'm going to call it 4, but we have a little bet on that. Don't have access to the overhead right now, but I think it's a bundle.
Is that the technical term, Bruce?
Yes, or to use the troll counting method from Terry Pratchett's Discworld novels. One too many lots. I think we have lots there in the house. So. Yeah, one too many lots. In fact, that would be 1 lot because it's 4. So, unfortunately for Matt Panoussi, he's having to draw here against either draw or quiet wait against the count of 4, just to see if he can salvage a 1 out of his power play. So he's just drawing to his backing, that red stone in the back button, back forefoot. This looks pretty nice. It's well managed there by Jen Westhagen. Lovely stone by Matt Panoussi there to get his 1. So he's fist bumped a 1. So another dignity point, as we're starting to call it here, and those of us who aren't Dean Hewitt and Charlie Gill. So they've shaken because it's the end of the 6th end with a total of 10 points to Team Gill Hewitt and 2 points to Team Westhagen Panoussi. So they've decided to call it. They don't think they'll be able to claw back that deficit of 8 in the next remaining 2 ends.
I think especially finishing first in the pool, having that second chance, it'll be an opportunity to just reset, review the game, rehydrate, re-energize, come back.
Yes, they get a bit of a break now because there's still some, even after these other games that have gone on around us are complete, those teams will then have to go into another round of playoffs to earn the right to play Matt and Jen. So Matt and Jen, I think, get the morning off tomorrow. So yes, as you said, Matt, they'll just take the opportunity to rest up tonight, have a bit of a sleep in possibly, and come back refreshed tomorrow to earn the right to play Dean and Tali again in what we hope will be a good final series.
And it will be a best of 3 as well.
Yeah.
So plenty of chances still.
Curling Australia rules say that the final game in all our nationals championships must be a best of 3, just to be as fair as possible and try and ensure that the best team wins.
Over on sheet D, unfortunately for Robbins and Francie, it was just a bridge too far there, so they ended up shaking. So Johns took 1 in the 6th end, taking their score to 9, and Robbins Francie shook to finish the game with a score of 1. So Johns was 9 and Robbins Francie was 1. So we've just got 1 game left tonight here. We've got over on sheet A, that's Gallagher Gagnon in the lime green unicorn shirts versus Team Milliken with the grey shirts.
So yeah, we can describe it. We'll go into radio broadcast mode because it's sheet A, which is 2 sheets across from our feature sheet here in Naseby. I don't think we can give you much video, unfortunately, but we can try and do our best to describe the action for you. So Team Gallagher Gagnon perhaps didn't use their power play as effectively as they wanted to, but it was an offensive power play. So essentially almost guarantees at least a score of 1, which it did. So they are now taking a 3-shot lead, 9-6, into the 7th end. So they can definitely start to play the scoreboard a bit. Yeah. So just describe that. There's now a large pocket of stones at the back of the forefoot. And Ian Gagnon is now going to pick it. Or rather, pop something in it. So there's a very inviting pocket there.
You might hear some of the crowd noises through our microphones as well. That certainly seems like Gallagher Gagnon is the crowd favourite on this sheet. It must be those lime green unicorn curling shirts.
I think so, yeah. What's not to love about them? So yeah, the ice on sheet A is a little bit, but Ian looks like he has the measure of it. This is a fraction light, this stone, unfortunately. His line's very good. Crowd here just urging a really strong sweep from. It's just going to come up a little shy and sneak into the top 12, but fortunately I can't see from this angle who's actually sitting shot. I think it's yellow at the moment. I think it's just 1 to yellow at the moment.
Thanks for being patient with us, just as our wonderful volunteer Brad Scott, he's just adjusting camera angles with everything that he can to try and get you the best shot possible. So thanks, Brad, for all your work this week.
Yeah.
For both the mixed doubles but also the men's and women's on the stream. And a big thanks as well to Rough Road Media for the equipment and for all of the support they're able to provide so we can provide this this wonderful stream on both Facebook Live and YouTube all across the globe. So great to see you all and great to have you all joining us tonight.
And just a reminder that on YouTube, not only are there these live streams, but they're then stored on the channel, so please watch them again later. As with all YouTubers, the more views we get, even historically, all help the channel and help the exposure of curling here in Australia. So yeah, and please like the feeds, please comment, please subscribe to the channel. So the next Curling Australia event will be the joint or a combined seniors and juniors nationals event in July. So we'll be, some of us who are of age are coming back. I qualify for juniors, obviously. Coming back in a couple of months to do this all again. So, and once again, we'll have Brad will be here too with his equipment, and we'll try and bring you coverage of more curling action from Naseby. So again, I think Brad's doing his best. He's got the camera we have on a tripod that's got a good zoom. Just to zoom in on the house as best we can. See, most of all our camera positions here are fixed, so there's only so much we can do to move across the sheets. But work in progress. We hope in the years to come we'll have cameras that can move across the sheets. But again, we're very grateful to Brad and the media company for everything they're doing to bring you these pictures and audio. So another stone coming in, it's also coming up a little light. And it's a long tournament. The schedule's pretty. It's not as brutal as it was in years gone by, where we'd have 4 draw days that started at 8 a.m. in the morning and would finish at 10:30 at night, but these 3 draw days can still take it out of you over the course of a few days. Fitness, definitely something that all curlers who want to compete at this level have to work on just as much as they're curling.
And the big key is sleep. You need to get a good amount of sleep. So obviously the weather is a little bit different over here as well to what it's like home in Australia. Certainly from Queensland perspective,
yes,
we're freezing down over here. So making sure that the fire is going and the heaters are on and the electric blankets are there with as many doonas as you can find in the house that you're staying in, just to make sure you can get that best night's sleep to rest and recharge your batteries.
And you and I are, of course, both East Coasters, which helps a bit with time zones, but our compatriots from WA have a time zone, a 4-hour time zone difference to contend with, which is enough for them to be significant. We only have a couple of hours to worry about, but 4 hours starts to get significant. So not only do they have distance to contend with, but they have time to contend with. And the contingent to come over from WA, so full respect to them.
And then even when going back as well, you just get used to the time zone, and then you've got to go back. So go back to normal life and have to readjust to that time zone change again.
So yeah, Team Milliken piling on the pressure at the moment. There's a lot of yellow stones. Look like to be 4 yellow counters at the moment, if I can see that.
There might be a red at the back.
Maybe
that might have been that original stone that Ros threw.
Oh, it is, yes. So just can't see where that is in relation to all 4 of the yellow stones. So don't actually know how many they're counting, but it looks like a potential big score brewing for Team Milliken. But they do have a last rock advantage as well. So
the crowd noise is also brewing, though. Everyone's getting around their house favourite.
Yeah, and that's because the beer has been brewed and is now being consumed. So thank you very much.
And we've also had the teams from the other 2 sheets, from Sheet C and D, they've joined us up in the spectator lounge as well. So they're watching on with anticipation to see how this game's going to play out.
So this is one of the magical things we have here at Nationals, those of us who've been here long enough, is this atmosphere behind the glass. So we're a very tight-knit community, but very welcoming to newcomers. And this happens for these late sessions when whichever game ends up being the last one on the ice is the one that everybody stays around to watch. And everybody picks a team that they're supporting. And I'm sure this is familiar to curlers all over the world. When we're not curling, the next best thing is to watch curling with other curlers, particularly with a beer or a glass of wine in hand.
So Ros Gallagher's just thrown her last stone. Team Milliken have got the hammer in this end. They're sitting. The score at the moment on the scoreboard is 9-6 to Team Gallagher Gagnon. So there's still a little mountain to climb in this end. Obviously, we're playing 8 ends in these competitions. Minimum 6 played, but 8 end games. I know that I went to an extra end just previously in the previous draw, so that is an option for a tied score. Team Milliken looking to claw back, as you said, Bruce, just trying to get a few extra points in this end.
Yeah, well, it looks like they're on to score a bundle, I think, would be, or lots, possibly. Let's go Terry Pratchett again. So I think there's potentially a 4 on here, maybe even a 5. I think the 5's probably not on, but we'll go for the 4. But even a 3 would tie the game up. So, but I think we're going to see the eighth end, whatever happens.
It will certainly be exciting. We're predicting that it's going to be Gallagher Gagnon with the hammer coming home in the 8th.
Yeah, they'll still fancy it. They'll only be a point or 2 behind, so everything to play for in mixed doubles. We know it's a high-scoring format. And yes, I mean, myself and my teammate in our round-robin games, all of our games went the distance. All but one of them, anyway. To the 8, 2 of them went to those extra ends. So we certainly got our money's worth for our competition feat. Oh
wow! So Carly Milliken has thrown her last stone. Hugh Milliken has swept it. Looks like it's just popped out that red stone that was out the back that Ros threw very, very early in the end, and just waiting on that confirmation. Obviously, the end that they're playing at is a long way away from us. I didn't pack my binoculars today, but Carolyn Swan, thanks for umpiring today and being one of our wonderful officials, has confirmed that it wasn't a score of 5.
Indeed, a score of 5.
So it takes it to Team Milliken on 11, Team Gallagher Gagnon on 9. They will come home with the hammer.
Yeah, they'll still find. So that's an amazing comeback by Team Milliken. I think fatigue is now a factor. I think all of the players out there are looking tired.
But there is a lot to play for with this game. This is an elimination game.
Yeah, all on the line. These players will leave nothing out there. They'll leave nothing on the table. So it's still a lot to play for. 2 is a very achievable score in mixed doubles for those who know the format, as is 3. So Team Gallagher Gagnon still very much in this, all to play for. So there's now conjecture around the in the gallery here that this cumulative score is one of the largest we've ever seen, which may be true. So we're up to 11-9 is the current score.
And thanks for your patience as well. We weren't anticipating this game was going to go, or we were hoping that our feature sheet was going to go through to our 8 ends. So we do have those fixed camera angles, so we'll give you the best description that we can. Obviously, the camera you can see is the away house, so you'll see the players slide out. But unfortunately, we just at the moment can't get you an overhead shot of that the home house on sheet A.
So that opening draw came in from Carly Milliken, and it was a good one. It tapped the pre-placed shot stone back about a stone's worth. So that pre-placed stone is now in the middle of the 8 foot, the red stone, and the yellow is sitting in front of it just off centre line, so sort of biting the button. So already setting up well. This looks a little heavy from Ros Gallagher, though it is trying to curl. Here we go. Oh, that's a great stone from Ros Gallagher.
And so Ros Gallagher just noses that yellow that Carly Milliken threw, so it sits almost all in the white of the button, and sitting 2 at the moment.
Sitting 2. It knocked, of course, there's no takeouts.
We've got a Mexican wave going.
We've got Mexican wave going, so yeah, officially, Team Milliken have been rosed. Ros becoming a cult figure here at... So again, Brad is doing what he can to see if he can find something, webcam, phone, anything, satellite, something to give us vision of the home house here over on sheet A, but we'll do our best to describe it. So now looks like we have a similar shot coming in from Hugh Milliken. He's trying to basically throw the same shot, so he's trying to tap the counting stone that's great stone there from Hugh Milliken. So he got to nose, he tapped back the counting red stone. So that's now at the back of the 8 foot to leave the yellow stone sitting just at the top of the button, but again off the centre line. It's exposed. It's not tucked in on the centre line. It is in the 4 foot, but it's out off to the side on the right-hander's intern side. So definitely can, and Ian will be able to see, even he's a left-hander, so he comes out from the opposite hack, but he can still see most of this stone. You're going to fancy a similar shot. Quiet wait. Just to tap that counting stone back. So, stone delivery. Weight looks good. It's all about the line. He's not sweeping it yet, so it suggests he's reasonably happy with the line at this stage. Now giving it a lick or two with the brush. So unfortunately, that just hung a little high. It hit the intended stone, hit its target, but it propelled it into the backing stones that were accumulating in the 8 foot. So the yellow stone is now sitting back of the 4 on the centre line, with about half of it sitting solidly in the 4. The red stone that was just thrown is only just biting the top 4 foot, fully open to being hit. So I think we might see that from Hugh Milliken here. Some kind of weight shot to hit, to at least get to the inside of that stone, to remove it, and to probably roll onto the centre line, I think will be the intended shot. We'll see how we go. The stone's now in motion. Carly Milliken. The moment, there's no urgency with a sweep. Looks like it's hanging a little wide, but oh, it's over curling this stone, so it has actually turned into a draw. That's still done a good job. I think it did it so that it actually missed its intended target stone and turned into a heavy draw. So it went through the button. It actually made contact with the yellow stone that had just been thrown to push that into third shot. So we have yellow sitting shot just off the center line, just biting the button. And we have second shot is now red, top of the 4 foot, off the center line, about halfway between the center line and the edge of the 8 foot. So something that Ian Gagnon can definitely use. Probably either try to draw in himself, repeat the shot by Hugh Milliken, or tap that red stone up into shot rock position. So stone in motion. Ian at the moment, just nursing it down. Now he's sweeping hard. He's given a little look. It looks like this is inside the thrown stone, so this is going to be a heavy draw now.
Crowd looking like they're enjoying it. Just taps off that red stone at the top. And from our angle, looks like it probably is sitting shot.
I think so. So it looks like he's got shot stone and sat in a pretty good place, actually. He's he's not quite undercover. It's edge on edge because the centre, yes, not quite, and maybe a little bit tucked under the centre guard. But this wonderful ice that's been prepared for us by the ice technicians here in Naseby is giving that late curl, which most curlers love. So this stone is definitely chaseable. There's also a double potential, which I think is what Hugh Milliken is eyeing up here. So we have the counting third shot is a red stone, but that's sitting at the top 4, corner of the top 4 on the right-hander's in-turn side, about half a rock higher than the counting stone that's next to it on the center line, and there's only about a stone's worth of space between them. So there's very much a natural double here for Hugh Milliken, and with his upweight ability, I think we'll see him take this on.
And thanks again to Brad for re-angling that camera. It's probably about as far as we can angle it to try and get you that home house. The viewers are certainly appreciating being able to see this home house, because it is a very exciting end. It is all to play for in this game. When it goes through and continues in the competition, the loser will finish their campaign tonight. So Team Milliken at the moment on the scoreboard 11 versus Team Gallagher-Gagnon 9.
Stone coming in here with sort of control up weight from Hugh Milliken. Somewhere between control and normal. Looking to raise to make that double. Oh. Oohs and ahs from the crowd here, so that's just hitting the stone a little high. Almost doubled his own yellow stone out, second shot stone, but spread that. So it's still Team Gagnon, Gallagher-Gagnon, sitting shot, top of the button. With all other stone, pretty much, all the other counting stones now in the house are yellow. There is a red stone right at the back. I don't think that's going to come into play. So Ian's looking at possibly the in-off. He's looking to find a shot that allows him to sit 2 at the end of this.
And of course they do have hammer as well.
Yeah, so Ros will have a stone after this. But Ian, obviously, you'd love to be, all of us, and would want to be sitting the 2 that we need, at least to take things into an extra end after every shot. just to pile on the pressure. So there is the tap back still available, though that would need a bit of weight in order to push the yellow stone that's currently at the back of the button far enough out to be third shot, and it has a little bit of backing. I think that will be the call. That yellow stone that the broom is now in front of could be used as an in-off stone. Now Ian will be acutely aware of that, so he might elect to use that stone himself, because Hugh Milliken has that option of using that stone too. It's in a useful spot for the other team. So we'll just see what... So yeah, we're getting quiet weight. We're getting actually draw weight pretty much from Ian, so he's looking to draw in, perhaps move things around a little bit in the house. Not sure he can get 2 from this stone, but he can be sitting the 1 and then with a very useful stone, a sort of set-up shot.
Certainly sweeping furiously, needing to get it over. Just taps that red into scoring position.
Yeah, so it taps that up into... Yeah, so it's sitting pretty much not quite plumb on the pin, but it's definitely covering the pinhole.
Still only sitting 1 at the moment, though, but plenty of stones in play.
Yeah, and that red stone, and Ian will have done that to leave his shooter in a very useful spot. Yeah, which Team Milliken know that, so they're looking at how they can neutralise that. Not so much the shot stone, but the stone that's just been thrown. So a couple of options here. Most of the red stone that's in the top of the 4 foot there is probably visible from the hack and probably could be hit. But that would involve a bit of an unknown quantity with all of the angles. So it looks like Team Milliken are going through a risk reward, or just going for a safer shot, just to try and get something else in there. The only thing is, anybody that knows, the sheet A, the ice that's on the board side, so that's on the left-hand side, the further side, as you can see it on your vision, is a little unpredictable. It's a little straighter with a bit of inconsistency. So that's why we've seen play on the side of the sheet that's closer to the camera, on the right-handers in-turn side. But this may be forcing Team Milliken to go to slightly unknown territory, go onto that other side of the sheet that hasn't been played in a while, so slightly unpredictable line.
Still plenty of time left on the clock, about 2 minutes left. For those who are joining us, it's an hour and 50 on a continuous countdown clock here for mixed doubles, so as long as the last end is started before that clock hits 0. You can still play that last end, the 8th end. So plenty of time on the clock. I think they've been playing at quite a good rate of pace for the game tonight.
Yes, so for those who may not know, obviously we're a volunteer organisation here in Curling Australia, so if we were to have full timekeeping, we would need probably more than 4 volunteers, because we have multiple draws and it's over the course of a week. We'd need a whole load of volunteers to act as timekeepers, and we just don't have access to that resources, so we don't do full timekeeping here. So what we have is a session clock that's set up with the recommended times, as recommended by World Curling. So that stone by Carly coming up a little short. It's only in 4th shot position. So there is...
There is a lot of
crowd starting to get a bit
vocal.
Yes. This is one of the reasons I keep coming, Matt, back to nationals. Is this right
Absolutely.
Here? This atmosphere.
The atmosphere is just electric at the moment.
Behind the glass, in the warm, with a fermented fruit beverage in hand,
and a couple of 4-legged friends too.
Indeed.
Yes.
We have Kai and
Winnie. Yep.
Enjoying the action too. They're human, works in the rink here, so they know the place, and they're quite happy to be in the warm, getting a bit of a pat, engrossed in the action. They are both focused heavily on the action, so In fact, they I think they've got a lot to say about strategy, so I think we need to ask them what they would do. But we do have a tap for 2.
So Ros Gallagher is just
tying her shoelace.
It looks like Ian Gagnon may have called the timeout.
Yeah. The tie out, possibly.
The tie out, yes.
Tie out, so tension high. I'm not sure the 3 is on here to win the game, but I think definitely a shot for 2 to take it to the extra end. And those of us who aren't necessarily, those of us who are neutrals, would just love to watch more curling. So I think we'd all like to see this shot go in, just so we get some bonus curling after this. So stone coming in from Ros Gallagher with her trademark knee-down pivot action to finish. Bit of a twirl, finish with a flourish. This looks a little wide from Ros. Crowd chanting, curl, 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 curl.
Ian Gagnon jumps on the broom, taps the red, and looks like it's sitting 2 to potentially take it to an extra end. Maybe, maybe not.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Hugh Milliken has indicated 2.
Crowd going wild.
To an extra end.
I'm not sure whether that's being picked up on our headset mics, but the crowd loved that shot. Another absolute pistol from Ros Gallagher, so Milliken team have been rosed yet again.
Yes. The team in green are loving it on the ice. The team in grey.
Lovingly. That's the spirit of curling right there.
Mexican waves going up in the spectator booth.
Credit to Hugh Milliken there, spirit of curling. He was the first to congratulate Ros on that shot. So, yeah, we have an extra end. So the score is now tied, 11-11. Team Milliken will take hammer into the extra end. So they'll get the advantage of that pre-placed stone at the back of the forefoot, and then, of course, last rock advantage at the end of the end.
And a big shout out to Carolyn Swan, the umpire, that's left in the rink by to umpire this sheet that we've got here. So she will no doubt be quite cold while the other wonderful volunteers are so Sandy and Rob Gagnon, they're up here enjoying the spectacle of sheet A.
Absolutely. So yes, our chief umpire and deputy chief umpire have more than earned a chance to take a couple of hours off now. They've done their bit for the day. They've been working tirelessly all week. They're here before all of us athletes, and they're usually here until after we've gone. So long days for them. So they've deserved a big shout out to Rob and Sandy Gagnon. Sandy's our chief umpire, Rob's assistant deputy. So they're now up in the warm, up here in the bar, having a drink. And yeah, full shout out to Carolyn Swan for taking this shift, as it were, and keeping an eye on proceedings down on the ice.
And so, Bruce, I would almost say this year for mixed doubles that you and your partner Michelle are almost the extra end experts. I'd have to consult the statistics, but I think more that you've been playing extra ends more than any other team.
I think so.
Michelle's telling us 3 extra ends out of your 5 games. So
it was, yeah.
What's going through your mind now? You've played you played for your life. You're in an elimination game now. What's going through your mind in terms of this extra end? So if you're Gagnon Gallagher, you don't have hammer. How are you feeling?
Well, the first reaction was always, I have to wait for that beer. More curling. I'm tired. So after we get through that, you have to mentally reset, refocus. And I think it's back to basics. It was for us. It's like you don't have we didn't have hammer in any of our extra ends, so it was always go back to basics. Let's get that opening draw first of all. Let's get that in play. Let's try and get in pole position in the end, because as anyone who's played mixed doubles knows, you can get that first dart in, that first stone in the house and get shot rock, then you get control of the end a little bit. So that's the other thing. So I mean, we feel that we played more curling than other people, so we got value for money for our competition fees. That's always good. We didn't. You get more money by winning games and going to playoffs. That's the other way you get value. But that way, that's a very good point. Excellent. We get the free drink we get the drink bought for us at the end of the game and the extra ice. So maybe jokes on everyone else. Yeah.
And I think also as well, Bruce, you earn the reputation of being entertaining for the crowds.
Absolutely. Crowd pleaser. Anyway, so that initial first draw from Ros Gallagher, fortunately coming up a little short. It's actually just acting as a guard. We have a great first stone from Carly Milliken, essentially straight to the pin. So Team Milliken firmly in control of this end. So Team Milliken currently sitting 2. They've got the pre-placed stone at the back of the 4. They've got the just thrown stone by Carly Milliken sitting essentially right on the pin.
Do you think Ian's going to play a takeout game, try and remove some of those stones as early as he can, or do you think it's going to be a bit of a draw game? Because obviously you play with Ian on your men's team, so you know him quite well.
Ian would always back his hitting game over his drawing game, although we as a team have been trying to remind Ian that his drawing game is actually pretty strong, and that's being shown out the fact that they're in this playoff. For those people who know this format, mixed doubles is all about the draw. So Ian, and as he's showing now, that's a pretty good draw shot from Ian. A very good draw shot from Ian. Put that stone in a great spot. I'm not sure if he's got shot, but again, it's about angles. He's set up a great angle there.
And most definitely a crowd favourite with that shot.
Yeah, the crowd loved that shot. We just like to see good curling here. So Ian, you're right. Ian probably will start clearing those guards. But at the moment, when you don't have hammer and you need to steal, guards are your friend. Even when you don't have shot yet in the end, there's still room to draw and tap. And Ian is also acutely aware that Hugh Milliken has a pretty good hitting game of his own. So currently those guards are something that Ian will like to see remain in place for as long as possible. We may even see Milliken start to peel these guards. I think that's... Nope, we're getting another draw from Hugh Milliken. He's trying, I think, just to come on top of the stone that's just been thrown by Ian.
So we have been well informed that yellow still is shot rock after Ian's shot.
Okay, so that's still Milliken sitting 2. But it doesn't matter how many you score at this end, it's sudden death. First, 1 point is all that you need. So that stone coming up a bit short from Hugh Milliken. I think he was hoping to get that into the house and sort of sandwich that red stone in. And again, you'll notice that everybody is playing the right-hand side of the sheet, which for the 3 right-handers out there is their out-turn side. Ian, it's his left-handed, being left-handed, is his in-turn side. But I think now, thanks to that shot, we do have to turn to the less predictable side of this sheet. Okay, I've been joined by our 4-legged guest commentators, Kai and Winnie, who are just loving the love. 2 very happy dogs here. Getting lots of attention from the crowd here. They've got a warm couch, curling to watch. It's a good life if you're Kai or Winnie, I think. So, all right, draw coming in now from Ian Gagnon. So again, a slightly unknown territory because they haven't been down this side of the sheet. There's less curl. It's a straighter side, so you have to throw things a bit narrow and flirt with guards more. So let's round the guards. Just going to come up a fraction short. Still yellow, sitting 2. They may only be sitting the 1.
They might only just be 1 at this stage.
May have moved the red just enough to be second shot. There's not much room in there now, is there?
Of course, one of those yellows is the pre-position stone. We can see the blue. Well, we can see the blue. I'm not sure whether you can quite make it out on the screen, but you can see there is a blue marker on the handle.
So just as they walk back to the hack, a bit of a team tactic chat. I'm not sure what the call is yet. Okay, so Hugh Milliken just going through his pre-shot routine. So draw shot on his in-turn side coming in. So it's the clockwise rotation. He's a right hand. I think he's just trying to, again, just sit on top of the cluster. This looks like it's going to come up a little short. Maybe the guard was the call. So this is really the only draw path available to Team Gallagher-Gagnon. So
just enters the high guard.
High guard, it only just made it over the hog line. That's a great sweep from Carly Milliken there. So it's only a foot or two over the hog line. So I think there would have been a bit of urgency in that sweep. Carly earning her corn. Got a bit of a congratulatory pat there from Hugh. Congratulatory pat. Ian just having a look at what's welded to what the angles are.
Using the end of his broom,
I've never seen that before.
The non-pad end of his broom, almost to see what the gap is.
Possibly, yes. I'll have to ask Ian about that. What's he doing?
Potentially a unit of measure.
Yeah.
One broom width.
One broom handle width.
One broom handle width. Yep.
I'm not sure what he's looking at here. He hasn't got a huge. He does have that yellow stone that was just thrown. And the other three sort of centre guards are all sort of covering each other, so they're not a huge amount of roofs. They're potentially a red onto yellow to go into the house. That's a tough shot. I think Ian might be looking at clearing the front. He needs. Then Team Gallagher-Gagnon need access to the scoring area here, so that's currently being prevented by those guards that are sort of clustered around the centre line. So Ian may go to his weight, which he will back to get some of those stones at least moving out the way to give him something to work with. If he removes any of those guards, the chances are Team Milliken would put them back. And then Ian would be hoping for a bit of a miss. So, no, the line here is a draw, or at least perhaps a slightly heavy draw. So the broom's come in a bit for Ian. Playing on this sheet earlier in the day, certainly for my draw, which is again a right-hander, I'm coming out a different hack. I would have the broom probably on the edge of the 12-foot for this draw, but Ian's brought it in, so it suggests it's going to be a slightly heavy draw. Question will be will the stone curl enough once it gets around the guards, gets past the guards, to actually make contact if he's going to be throwing sort of back 8, back 12 weight at this. So Ian now, I think. Ian is now the new entertainer. So I think Ian, now that he's taken a look at everything from the hack, realised he really couldn't see very much. So now thinking that we need a bit of weight, bit of heat thrown.
Sat in the hack and then he's come down and he's gone, oh no, I've got to go back. So
you muted yourself there, I think that's me. Okay, so crowd plays up. We love to see these fast up weight shots. So the crowd got very excited when Ian changed the call there to go for a peel weight shot. I suspect that Ian can throw a pretty mean peel weight of his own when he wants to, so we should see some granite moving here. I would hope so.
So Ross just holding the broom, just at that top guard. One to two, just moves it out. So
yeah, so not quite making the contact he wanted there. That probably just over curled a fraction, or under curled actually, I think. That was a good 7.5 to 8 second peel weight shot from Ian. That's pretty good going.
It does open up that side though for the draw, but Hugh Milliken looking to signaling to just put a guard back there straight away. Yeah. Just block up that path for them.
Yeah, unfortunately we do have staggered centre guards there, so still a bit of an obstacle there for Team Gallagher-Gagnon. There's no straight direct path to the scoring zone. And there's not even any obvious run backs or or raises. And potentially that high yellow guard on the intern side of the sheet, the right-hander's intern side. Perhaps could be driven in, but there's risk with that because it's a yellow stone going in instead of a red one. But that might be able to get in there with the right angle to somehow get rid of or move the two counting yellow stones, or the counting yellow stone. So that's a hard shot. So the easiest shot would be on this side of the sheet. So Hugh Milliken just getting a guard in there. Make your
overcurling a little bit.
Is going to overcurl slightly, I think.
It certainly blocks any chance of a direct hit.
Yeah, I think that's...
It wasn't where he was trying to call the drop to stop the draw. The crowd not wanting, obviously, what they were calling out on the ice for Team Gallagher Canyon. We've obviously had a number of shots that have been Roz specials, and the crowd obviously looking for another Roz special now with her last stone off the end.
So it looks like, crowd not happy. They think that a shot on the other side of the sheet is possible. The way Roz delivers the stone mean that Roz stones can have significant late curl. They can dive in around guards, and Roz can achieve shots that a more conventional curling delivery might not be able to achieve. So maybe they're thinking they can actually get to probably the red stone that's tucked behind it, showing a tiny little piece. So they won't need to move it much. I think they'll need to move it millimeters to get it to count shot rock. So,
and that's it. It's
in motion.
It is in motion, and this is the stone that counts. If they can't get this to shot, unfortunately, with yellow with hammer, it's going to be.
Here it goes. Just a little wide. Just wide. Oh, crowd. Sorry to see the end of that game. So that is going to be 12-11. It's a very high aggregate score.
And also very entertaining as well.
Absolutely. Smiles all round. I think Ian and Roz have exceeded their expectations for this tournament already just by making the playoffs. It wasn't something they initially thought was a given. So congratulations to them on getting this far in the tournament. Congratulations to Milliken for winning this game and moving onwards. Nice to see. Big hug there for Team Gallagher Canyon. So I think if I understand the format correctly, that Team Milliken... So now we're going to have a family affair for the next game. Team Milliken move on to play Team Johns. And they will play for the right to play Team Westhagen Panoussi. And then the winner of that game and will then earn the right to play Team Gill Hewitt in what potentially is the first of a series of 3 finals. So, job well done, I think, all rounded. But I think both teams are going to come off that game feeling happy and satisfied with their work today and over the last few days. And
smiles all round as they're coming down to the to the home house, just bringing their stones back. Some great curling, as we just heard from the crowd.
Rob Gagnon, the chief umpire, or deputy chief umpire, of course, can't take sides, but agrees that curling is the winner tonight.
So what we've got just on our scoreboard, we've got Team Johns as the winner of one of our 2 qualifiers. We've got Team Milliken, as we've just seen, as the second winner of the qualifiers, so they'll go through the quarterfinals. Team Gill Hewitt won our 1-1 game, so they'll go straight through to that best of 3, as Bruce was mentioning earlier. Johns and Milliken play off in the quarterfinals. The winner of that go and play against Westhagen Panoussi, and the winner of that, as Bruce said, goes into the finalist spot for that best of 3, and the loser will take the bronze medal in our national championships here in Naseby. So thanks, Bruce.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me. I think it's nice to have just 2 people up here on the mic. So thanks very much. And thank you to Brad for doing the video moving cameras around and managing the video feed there. So it's been very in the comments. It's been people are very grateful for the coverage we've had. So thank you.
Thanks to our officials for being out there in the cold.
Yeah, so Carolyn in particular for staying the distance. So we're going to sign off, and we'll be back tomorrow. I believe the first draw is at 9. Is that correct? Yes, 9 a.m. tomorrow in local time, New Zealand. The next round of playoffs. So we hope to see you. We'll have your company then. Until then, good night.
Good night, everybody.